So up until now, our primary focus has been, getting this thing running, getting the suspension rebuilt, brakes, getting the drivetrain done, make it a driver, So now we're gonna move our attention to the interior, and we've got a few things we got to fix in here. So some cosmetic, this steering wheel clearly needs to be fixed. You can kind of see there's no arm pad on that door panel, and there's no arm pad on this door panel either. So we're going to take the door panels off. We're going to fix them up. My passenger side window, that doesn't roll down, so we got to bust that out, see if the issues with the motor, with the regulator, see what's going on there. We'll fix that. We are going to replace the antique stereo system that's in this truck. After about 30 years, I'm sure the speakers in the door are shot, and we got this really sweet tape deck complete with leaky LCD screen. So that means we're also talking about stereo system. We've got some fancy interior upgrades, like we're gonna get rid of the old crummy chrome dome lights and go with something a little more modern. These are a lot more nicer. I got LED headlights. I got over there, I got a full set of LED bulbs for the interior. We've got odometer gauges, oil pressure and trans temp, which are going to go in up on the A-pillar, so we're going to get them all wired up. We also have in some boxes back here, we have new headlamp housings, new tail lamp housings, all sorts of parts. So I think the first thing we're going to do, we're going to move over to the passenger side of the truck. We are going to rip that door panel apart and see if we can't get that window to work, and see if we can't fix that door panel. So here goes nothing. All right, we gotta get this door panel off. Looks like this screw over here is already broken, so we're gonna have to fix that, and everything else should be push pins except for this guy here. So we'll just yank this one out, and we gotta lock the door. Lock. Oh god, it won't lock. Okay, maybe we can get this one out. I think it's completely broken, though. It probably doesn't matter. It's broken. It's in the door panel. It's gone. All right. That means this thing should just lift off. Come on. There it is. Come on. There we go. All right. Now, on these, it is difficult to, let me bring the camera over here, and you can see that in order to remove the door panel, the wiring, stink bugs. In order to remove the door panel, you actually have to take the screws out. There's no quick release like on the later model trucks. So let me set this guy down a moment, and okay. Okay. Now it's just a matter of tension holding this in place. Nope, we missed the third screw. Third screw. This is not a great design. Okay, there we go. Switches are out and our door panel is now away, and we're gonna deal with that later. So now we gotta figure out just what the heck is going on with this window regulator, which unfortunately means I gotta pull this down. And there's another stink bug. Holy cow. Oh, more. Look at this. Jeez, how many stink bugs are in this friggin' door? Okay, now get this out of the way. All right, I gotta go hook the battery cables up. If I recall correctly, the problem with the window regulator was just the, I swear it was the gearbox, but it's been a long time. So let me go hook the power back up to the truck, and we'll key this up, and we'll see what this thing does. Okay, power's up. Let's see what this thing does. I don't know anything. Nothing works. Door locks don't work, windows don't work. Oh, okay, that's cool. Let me go see what it does from the driver's side going switches. Oh yeah, she's broken. Okay, so we gotta fix that. And it looks like door locks don't work from either door. So we must have a switch problem, but for now, let's get this window regulator out of here because we gotta rebuild this gearbox. So, not a big deal. More stink bugs. Jesus, how many stink bugs are in this? Good lord, how many stink bugs are in this fucking door? Oh my crap. All right, regulator is not a big deal, but it's obviously never been out before, so I gotta drill these rivets out, and then hopefully we can shoehorn this thing out with the kind of a pain with the glass up, but we'll get her. All right, I got the regulator on the bench. This is probably the same thing we ran into in the tailgate. The gearbox needs to be rebuilt, so we will find out shortly. The regulator itself appears to be in decent shape, aside from my stop being broken. I'm not actually sure what we're gonna do about the little plastic bumper being broken, but we'll worry about that one later. For now, let's just get this motor off and see what we got going on here. I should have a rebuild kit over on the shelf. Come on. Come on. Come on. There it is. Oh yeah, it's completely destroyed. Yeah. There's just junk in there, man. Ugh. Okay. There's plastic over there even, I think. All right. Let me get this thing cleaned up, and I'll go grab a rebuild kit. We'll slap this thing back together. All right, this is all cleaned up. I did have a rebuild kit on the shelf, so this is just going to be more of the same. Here's our new plate. We got an O-ring for the shaft, and a pack of grease. We got a new gear. If I can get it open. There we go. Got a new metal gear. Okay. And we got 3 little plastic cylinders that go in there too. So, grab a pick. We can't get this O-ring off of here. Hopefully we can get this O-ring off of here without stabbing myself. That would be cool. Aha! Here we go. Okay. O-ring. Jeez, my hands don't work today. Maybe some grease. Okay, I should do plenty. Now, the fun part is getting these things to go together. This is actually a huge pain in the butt. This might actually be easier. Hey, hey, get. Hey, this guy doesn't want to. Ah, there it is. Ha-ha. Okay. Gears installed. Now we can put our plate back on. Where'd that screw go? There it is. Okay. All right, done. Gearbacks back on, and then we can throw this back in the door. Oh, you know what? Actually, I do want to put this back in the door, but I think before we install this, while we have a little extra room in the door, we are going to troubleshoot our door locks, and we're going to find out why the door locks aren't working. Neither door lock is working, and neither of them works from either switch. So if I recall correctly, the system gets its power from the driver's side door switch. So if the driver's switch is bad, neither switch will work. So I think what we are going to do is we're going to go over, maybe we'll get the voltmeter out and we'll test for power first. You know, I find it hard to believe that both door lock actuators have failed, but I suppose it's possible. So let me go grab the meter and we'll unplug the door lock actuator and we'll actually test it and see if it's getting power or not. And we'll go from there. All right, we got to figure out why the door locks don't work. I gotta pull the driver's side door panel off. This thing is beat, man. Like, wow. Actually, where's the? Yeah, there's that. We're gonna replace that, but like, jeez, you know, screws that don't belong. This corner's broken. There's screws, some kind of flatheads or something down there. So this thing's a mess, but I'm gonna try and get it off the door, and we'll see if. Yeah, we gotta be able to at least clean this thing up half decent, because you know the aftermarket door panels suck. So we get this thing off and we'll continue troubleshooting the power door locks, and then we'll deal with, you know, fixing this door panel later. Door panels off. First sign that people have been in here before. The regulator's bolted on, so I can see this thing works nice. It's been greased, so it's pretty obvious that's been out. Looking in the door, you can, there she is. Door lock actuator is literally just hanging by the rod. Don't know what's going on there. Gonna have to fish that one out. Found yet another wasp nest there, so we have to fish that guy out of there too. I didn't even tell you, I found one in the filler door when I was first filling this, gassing this thing up. Huge one, scared the crap out of me. So that was cool. But this thing is like a wasp sanctuary, you know. But anyways, I'm gonna try and fish that actuator out of there, and we'll grab the meter. We'll see if it's even getting power. If I recall correctly, everything grounds through the driver switch, and that wire looks a little wonky, doesn't it? What's going on? What's going on here? That pin looks a little weird. All right, let me set this camera down and we're gonna tinker with this a little bit more, see what's actually going wrong here. Okay, one more test, right? So I got the door lock switch back in, and here, which direction this was. 10.6, it's not great, but that's power. Yeah. All right, yeah, that confirms it. Both door lock actuators are shot, which is pretty wild, but whatever. I guess we will run by the auto parts store and see if we can't get a pair of these things. while we're waiting for power door lock actuators. I'm going to do some work in the interior, and I think the first thing I'm going to fix, just because it's irritating me, is that. So I don't know what happened here, but there ain't much left. So let me get this apart and see if we can't fix this hinge. Look at that. Like it's supposed to work. No latch though. We'll have to get one of them off eBay or something. But for now, let's move on to the next project. I don't think I have to tell you how much these cup holders suck. I don't know what Ford was thinking, why they made them so shallow, but I do have a pretty simple fix for that. Inserts. These are just some cheapies from Amazon, Sea Dog, but that's much better. So this is a pretty easy one. We're just going to cut the bottom out, and then we're just going to slip that in, and done. Okay, bottom cut out, insert. It's a little snug, but that's what I want. I don't want it to move, but look at that. Like, it looks like it belongs in there, you know? And then, much better. Now, I'm not big into stereo systems. I'm more interested in listening to the rumble of the engine than the rumble of the stereo. But that's a tape deck. So that's got to go. So I don't know what they've got going on in here. I have no idea what I'm going to find. Why don't we get this apart? I don't like the fact that the stereo is already moving with the dash. That shouldn't be doing that. I can already see this is going to be a fun stereo removal. So there we go. See what they did here. All right, that was not exactly what I expected, but radio is coming out, and what the? I hate butt connectors. Holy cow! What a friggin' mess. Okay, I guess I know what I'm gonna spend the rest of the day doing. So, okay, we're gonna fix this the right way, and then I guess we'll dig out the new head unit and get it installed. All right, still no power door lock actuators. They haven't showed up yet, but I took some time. I got some sound deadener on the inside of the doors now, so that should cut down a little bit of road noise. We got speakers in. I have the dash all rewired for the head unit, but of course, you know, I forgot to order a install kit for the head unit like a dumbass. So maybe we'll do that one next week while I wait for parts. So we're going to move on, and we're going to look at the A-pillar, because I want to put some gauges in this truck. And conveniently, I already have a gauge pod, and conveniently, despite how it might look on camera, this is actually the same color, because this is the gauge pod out of my 88. After I took this one out because I needed the 3 gauge pod to add the wideband though too for tuning. So we're going to pull this down. We're going to see about getting this mounted, and then we will work on wiring up our new oil pressure and transmission temp gauges. 2 for 2. All right, let's get these window regulators back in, get the windows working, and I think we're done with the doors. Success. One door, 90% done. Everything works. Door locks, windows. Actuator moves good. We got our new speaker in the door. All the switches are good. It's actually here. So all that's left now is to put the door panel on, and it's actually in pretty decent shape. You know, it's got the typical crack here. We'll come up with something for that, you know, but the fabric's in good shape, the chrome's in good shape. This is a little loose. I think that's just, is it right there maybe? And I'll just go and yep, okay, fixed. But the arm pad is shot, and it looks like it's held on with a missing screw there, and then there's something else behind the juke. We'll sort that out in a minute, but what's awesome is I found brand new ones for whatever reason. Look, still even has the Ford part number on it. For whatever reason, you can still get these in smoke gray color. I don't know why. Hold on a second here. But look at that. Look at that. It's pretty nice. Actually, it still has. I wonder if these are actually like. It's got the Ford logo. I wonder if these are actually like new on stock. It's really nice though. So we're going to. What do we got? We got 1, 2, 3 screws from the back, and it looks like 2 screws from the bottom. So I'm going to. Oh man, it's a perfect match. All right, I'm going to try and get this one off, and we'll get this one on, and I think we can put this door panel on. Just like that, passenger side door is complete. Driver door is now done as well. So let's move on and get this interior finished. All right, so A-pillars removed. I have my gauge pod ready to go. We've got our gauges. They are Autometer GS series, full sweep, oil pressure, and trans temp. Same gauges I run in most of my trucks. They're just nice gauges, you know, and they're super reliable. So I'm gonna get this mocked up, get some wires laid out, get it all cleaned up and looking pretty, and I'll come back and show you what I got. All right, this is the wiring harness for the oil pressure sensor, and it's actually pretty simple. You got 3 wires over here, and then it's power, ground, and elimination, and then you've got 3 wires here that go down to your sensor. So this is pretty simple as far as wiring electrical projects go. This is a pretty simple one, but you know, I like doing things the hard way, so we're gonna cut all this apart and we're gonna complicate it. But we're just gonna make a nice standalone harness for the gauges, and that will plug into the chassis. So I'm gonna get all this laid out, and we'll figure out, you know, where our wires are going to lay, and we'll nip some stuff up, and then once I have a better plan, I'll come back and show you what I got. All right, we're about ready to do our final install on our gauge pod now. As you can see, I have my A-pillar trim is all back in now. I just have our wires for our 2 sensors poking through, so this can go in for the final install. If you look under here, if you can see, we have our, there's the light. Where's the light? Okay, here we go. So here's our 2 connectors. This one right here, that's going to be our power, and then this is going to be sensors. So I actually have this pigtail I've already made up, which I'm going to tie into the truck here momentarily, and that'll be our power. And then here's our 2 pigtails for the 2 sensors. So I'm going to get this hooked up so I can key on the gauges, make sure they work, and then we will put a hole in the firewall and start running these to their respective gauges. Oh man. Okay, this is our wiring harness for the oil pressure gauge. So conveniently, the factory sound deadener has this weird knockout in the foam here for whatever reason. So we just kind of punched a small hole here, and just like that, we'll be able to get, you can't really see it, but it'll be real easy to come up here so we can run over to the oil pressure sensor, which is actually already installed on the motor. We did that back when I did the Saginaw swap. So I'll cut to that here so you can see that. For now, I'm just going to lay these wires out, and then we're going to actually install the transmission sensor and get those wires run as well, and then we'll key the gauges on and make sure they work. So this is the sending unit for an Autometer full sweep oil pressure gauge. The ones with the half sweep come with a different sending unit apparently, unless for some reason maybe this one is just newer, but this is definitely not the sending unit that came in the half sweep I have in the green daily driver Bronco. But I got to put this in right now because we are in the middle of the Saginaw power steering conversion, and the oil pressure sending unit is actually behind the power steering pump. So I have to get this installed right now, and then we'll cut to the rest of this installation whenever we get to it. Okay, just like that, 2 sending units in 1 port. So this is personal preference. You don't have to run both. If you take the wire for the OEM oil pressure sensor and nip the end off and just apply it to ground, your oil pressure gauge in the dash will read somewhere in the middle of the sweep, wherever it normally reads. I'm keeping it though, because I like the idea that if you do have an actual oil pressure problem, not only will your odometer gauge show it, not only will your dash gauge show it, but your red engine light will come on as well. And you know, since I am building this thing for my wife and not myself, I would prefer that every idiot light in the dash function as Ford intended. So that's what we're doing. We got both sensors installed, just with a T on a pipe. Same way I did my green one, works fine. So next step will simply be to start wiring up the gauge. So that's our transmission temp sensor, which we will be installing right here. This is the test port for the E4OD. It is right in the main fluid path of the transmissions. This is actually a great place to get your temps reading. So not a big deal. Just take this guy out. Hopefully it doesn't spill ATF all over me. It's gonna. Okay. Oh, okay. Hold on. So that's the wiring harness for the trans temp sensor all plugged in. It's difficult to get my hand up in this space, but it just kind of loops up, hooks on the bracket for the fuel lines to keep it up out of the way of the shift linkage. From there it disappears under the hood, which you'll never find it. All right, so here, behind our carpet here, this is our wires coming back from both sensors. So all I'm gonna do now is just kind of loop this guy up behind the main harness here, and we can just plug it into our gauges, and done. That's it. So I'll just I'll get this. I'm going to try and mount this up on the side of the pedal assembly here and get the wires up out of the way. But that's it. Done. So now it's just a matter of getting the push pins, getting the gauges permanently mounted on the A-pillar, and powering them up. Okay, dash is completely back together now. Everything's been changed out to LED. I got a nice new, well, not new, but I got a nice steering wheel on here in place of that ratty old one we had. Ugh. We got rid of that stupid chrome knob in favor of a nice OEM one. So looks pretty good. Gauges look good. If we key on, you can see them kick just a little bit as they self-test. So everything appears good there. So I think this actually about finishes up everything that we want to do in the interior, with the exception of that antique piece of junk right there. We're gonna get rid of that, and we are gonna put this one in, which these come out of all sorts of stuff. What's this one? This one's F5, so this came out of a 95 or 96 or something. I've seen them in trucks, I've seen them in cars, I've seen them in, I want to say Explorers. They're like, Ford uses them and everything, and they actually basically are just a direct swap. So I'm gonna get the screwdriver and we'll take that one down and we'll get this one up. That is a much nicer looking dome light, and also considerably brighter. So I think that might actually be it. I think we're done in the interior now. So I don't know what else is left to do. I actually got to look at the list. What do we got here? We got let's see. We did door locks are done. Miscellaneous interior is done. Passenger window motor is done. Lines, winch power, gauges. Okay, gauges are done. Stereo's done. Washer pump. I wonder if that works. All right. Well, there's a few more things to do, but I think that's what I'll do. I think I'm just going to start running through this list, start picking these things off. All right, one of the things I still got to add to the electrical system is power for the winch, which is actually why I still have it reinstalled on the front of the truck. So this is the original lead from the winch as it came from Warren, but this is not the quick connect they run. I am running the bigger series, I think it's the 50 series, because I primarily use this on my trailer, and it's powered by the diesel, so I had to have a real long run from the batteries all the way to the trailer. So I switched to the larger connector so I could run 2.0 gauge cable. So to that end, I have various pieces of cable, and I have some different ends. I've got brand new ends and sleeves and stuff. So what we're gonna do momentarily here is I'm going to redo my brand new cables. I'm going to switch to a set of military style, because you have the through bolt, and I can put the original battery cables can go on one side, and then our quick connect leads can go on the other side. So what I'm gonna do now is I want to try and figure out, like, this lead is pretty long, but the connector's pretty big, so maybe I think we might cut one of these ribs out of the grill here, and then maybe we'll gain access to that airway. Let me pull the grill out. Gain access to that port right there. So maybe what we can do is run a short set of leads down. I know I have a short lead here. Whatever, this will work. And we can have this, like, can I get my hand in here? I don't know, maybe we can get it hidden down in there, or maybe we want to have it really short and up here, because we're going to run the power for the winch all the way up here. I don't know yet. I'm gonna mess around with it a little bit. I'm gonna snake some cables through there, see what fits and what doesn't, and once I come up with a game plan, I'll come back and show you what I got. All right, so I ended up taking this lower slat out. You don't really notice it's missing, but I have this 1.0 gauge, which is more than enough considering the run from the battery to here. So what I think I'm going to do is, see, I kind of have, maybe you can't see it, I have the red just run here right now, and it's just kind of laying there. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to terminate both the red and the black, and I'm going to hang a connector in here, because I think there's enough room that you can, like, tuck it down in the grill, and then we could fish it out and just kind of plug in. That way I don't have too much, because I got a lot of wire here, but I also don't feel like fishing this up through into the engine bay or having to open the hood or anything. So I'm going to terminate some cables here. We'll put a connector together, we'll fish it in, we'll see how it looks, and then if we like it, then we'll come up with a nice clean routing through the engine bay, and we'll get everything loomed and protected. All right, first cable's done. Lugs are crimped, and then it's 3-to-1 adhesive lined shrink wrap on there to keep her all sealed up so we don't get any corrosion in there. And then if you've never messed with these connectors before, the fittings just kind of, fittings, the tips just kind of snap into place. Sit down, I guess, like that. And then you can just take this guy and go in. And they're a little tight to put in, but once you get them in there, that's it. It's in there. Takes a cake. So I'm gonna make up the other cable, and then we'll fish this thing in there. All right, winch wiring is done. So you'll be able to reach through that slot in the dash, grab this guy, and comes out just a little bit, just enough room that you'll be able to come in and plug that in, and then if you can always just stuff it back in here when you're done. So cables just kind of come up and around and go to our new military style connectors. So we got the original battery cable here, we got our winch power, well, obviously that's winch ground, but whatever, we got our winch power going to both of them. Nice, simple, clean solution. So I think that's going to work well. So chalk that one off the list. Let's move on to the next. All right, I've been trying and failing at getting these brakes split no matter what I do. No air in the system, but no no pedal anyway. So I started messing with the ABS module here, and as it would turn out, I think it's seized. I have been pressure bleeding and doing all sorts of stuff. I can't get any fluid to come out of the bleeder on this thing. I'm guessing it's just seized up and doesn't work anymore. So that is most likely. I'm sure there's an air pocket in there. The whole system was dry. So I got a new unit here. Not a unit, I got a reman from Cardone. So I'm gonna try and get that one off the frame, get this one on, and then I guess we'll try bleeding the brakes again. Okay, here we go. Oh, and there goes my hose. Cool. All right, well, it's bleeding. It's bleeding. Okay. So that answers that question. The ABS module is bad. So, cool. Okay. I guess let me finish bleeding this, and then we can check this off the list, too. All right, we got a ton of stuff done. Ton. I feel like this video is actually starting to run on kind of long, so I think we're going to call it here. There's actually really not much left to do, I think. So next video, we're going to get this thing outside. We're going to get our headlamps and marker lamps changed and get all the bulbs in this thing. We're going to get these chrome rings off, all 4 fenders, because that one's getting kind of rough back there. I got to get all this gunk off the fenders. We're going to do flares, and then hopefully it will be going to get an exhaust system. And we'll be taking our test drive. So if all goes well, just 1 or 2 more videos left and this thing's going to be a cruiser. So thanks for watching.